Let's talk about SAP Business AI. You hear the term AI everywhere, right? It can sound complicated, maybe a little intimidating. Well, today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to break it down into 4 core tools that you can actually understand and see how they can completely change the way you work. This isn't just theory, it's about a real, practical transformation. So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we're going to start with a problem that I bet feels very familiar to you. Then we'll build up our solution piece by piece, starting with simple automation and going all the way to some truly creative AI. And finally, we'll pull it all together to see what this business AI thing really looks like in action.
Okay, let's just start with a feeling. You know the one I'm talking about? That daily grind, the endless copying and pasting, checking spreadsheets, re-entering data, that feeling of being totally bogged down in manual tasks, that is exactly why we need to be talking about business AI.
And you know what's at the heart of that feeling? It's this: data overload. I mean, every single day, businesses are just getting flooded with information from all over the place. Trying to keep up manually isn't just inefficient anymore, it's practically impossible. Automation has become absolutely critical just to keep your head above water.
And when you look at it, this data chaos is, well, it's everywhere, isn't it? You've got information coming in from Excel sheets, from vendor websites, from your own internal systems, and it's all flowing into the business. This isn't just one department's problem. It's a bottleneck that affects everyone, from the folks in procurement all the way to HR.
So how do we start to fix this mess? Well, this is where we bring in the robots. But, probably not the kind you're picturing in your head. Let me introduce you to robotic process automation, or RPA for short. These aren't physical walking around robots. Think of them as a digital workforce, little software bots that live in your computer designed to take over all those tedious, mind-numbing, rule-based tasks you have to do every day. So what are these bots really good at? Well, think of them as the ultimate workhorse for those high-volume, repetitive jobs. They are absolutely perfect for bridging the gap between different systems. Like pulling data from some website and plugging it into your internal software over and over again without ever getting tired and without ever making a typo. But here's the thing, just doing tasks faster is only half the battle. The next big challenge is knowing which tasks you should even be focusing on before they turn into massive problems. It's all about shifting from constantly putting out fires to actually preventing them in the first place. And this is exactly where situation handling comes into play. Honestly, you can just think of it as a super intelligent early warning system for your business. It doesn't sit around and wait for you to discover a problem. It proactively flags things, like a contract that's about to expire or a shipment that might be delayed, and it alerts the exact person who needs to deal with it. And this is where it gets really powerful, because it's kind of this 3-step benefit. First, you get that proactive heads up, no more surprises. Second, you start to see patterns. You gain real insight into why these things keep happening. And third, and this is the best part, you can use that knowledge to fix the root cause and automate the process, so maybe that problem never even happens again. Okay, so we've got our bots handling the grunt work, and we have our early warning system in place. Now, let's get into the really cool stuff, the advanced layers of AI that can actually start to predict the future, and even create something brand new out of thin air. This journey starts with machine learning, and the key idea here is actually pretty simple. Instead of giving a computer a bunch of rigid rules to follow, you just feed it a mountain of data and let it figure out the patterns for itself. So, for instance, by looking at thousands of past orders, it can learn to predict which new deliveries are most likely to be delayed. And it just keeps getting smarter and smarter with every new piece of information it sees. And then comes the next giant leap: generative AI. This slide just nails the difference, doesn't it? On the left, you've got traditional AI, which is all about analyzing the data that's already there. But on the right, generative AI takes it a huge step further. It creates something that didn't exist before. We're talking about it drafting a personalized marketing email for you, writing actual lines of code, or even generating a photorealistic image just from a simple text description. And that phrase right there, the power of creation, that is the absolute game changer. It's the difference between analyzing what already exists and imagining what could exist. This one capability is opening doors to applications that, honestly, just a few years ago felt like something straight out of science fiction. So let's put it all together.
What happens when you combine the tireless digital workforce of RPA, the smart alerts of situation handling, and then you add the predictive and creative genius of machine learning and generative AI? Well, you get the future. You get true business AI. When you have all these tools working together, it gives you the chance to completely reinvent how business is run. It's a huge shift from, wrestling with these clunky, complicated processes to designing elegant, intelligent systems that just work. This isn't about making small tweaks here and there. This is about fundamentally changing how an entire organization operates and innovates. And at the end of the day, this integrated approach delivers real value across the whole company. You're not just automating a few tasks anymore. You're creating way better customer experiences, you're finding efficiencies you never knew you had, and you're building a foundation for real, solid growth long into the future. It really is a complete toolkit for transformation. And that brings us to our final and I think most important thought here. We've seen all the tools, right? From the simple bots to the creative powerhouses. So now I want you to think about your own day-to-day work. The real question isn't just what tasks can we get rid of? The much more exciting question is, by handing over the boring, the repetitive, and the predictable to AI, what new, creative, and uniquely human challenges will you finally be free to solve?
All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dig